You know, people are hoping for better economic times once Obama takes office. But a lot of analysts are, looking over the situation and warning things could get a lot worse in this coming year before they get any better. And we're about to talk about that with Business Week's senior writer and columnist, Roben Farzad. Robin, great to have you with us.
Happy New Year, Jim.
Happy New Year to you. I don't know how happy we should be. What do you open your crystal ball up to us a little bit, take a peek and share it with us.
Well, certainly you're seeing a relief rally on Wall Street today, and part of that is just everybody's so happy to just wash their hands of this nightmare, this cataclysm after another cataclysm that was 2008. And as you mentioned before, the year hasn't started with great economic news, certainly, but there's hope that we're going to turn a corner, that there's a new administration coming in ready to write upwards of $750 billion in stimulus.
Well, can you spend your way out of this?
I'm sorry?
Can they spend their way out of this?
No, and in fact, the emphasis, really, the skepticism is on spending, because certainly we thought we could spend our way out of the business cycle, and we're paying the overdue tab for a decade of excess, really reckless lending, reckless capital formation, reckless multiples paid for businesses, Wall Street's recklessness. Spending, as it seems, is quite overrated, especially when you have a hangover afterward. But frankly, there's very little choice right now, unless you want to let the entire system just crash and burn and let the fire burn out, which I think nobody in Capitol Hill wants to do.
Well, there's going to be a lot of, and in fact, some of our viewers have weighed in on this. They said, we want to know how all of the money, all the people that are helped, how they spend every dime of this, what's going on with these stimulus packages. And, one of the areas, Detroit, everybody thought, well, they'll get this money, they'll bail themselves out. And, up there on Capitol Hill, they said, you better build hybrids, you better build smaller cars. Hey, looked in the Financial Times today, Robin, and it's saying that sales of these hybrids have plummeted.
Yeah, there's a disconnect with regulatory exhortation and the business reality on the ground. A lot of people, separately from this conversation, would say gasoline is not taxed in the proper way to incent this, to prevent this codependency from spiking gasoline prices, and then hybrid popularity, and then the cycle where you see oil fall from 145 back to 30, and then people suddenly lose their ardor for more efficient vehicles. We are going through a period, kind of a baptism by fire here, where there were so many moving parts in the past year globally, what with record oil prices, inflation, you saw the credit system collapse, you saw contagion. And it's a brave, new, terrifying world. It's not just, we can't just concentrate on one isolated disaster, because it's not isolated. Detroit then has its lumps. Then you have the housing market. Then you have China and manufacturing and United States Treasury bonds. So, it's all connected.
Everybody's always been saying that, boy, put your money in the stock market. That's the only place that it will go up. Investors have been burned. And some of the analysts I talk to say, don't expect this market to give you back more than about 5% in 2009.
The truth of the matter is, as much as you want to turn on the TV and have your hands held and told that the market is going to do this for you, the world, Americans, retail investors have a fundamentally unhealthy relationship with the stock market. History time and again shows that they love to get in when the market's at record highs, and people are talking about this at barbecues and cocktail parties, and they sell out in times like September and October, where history shows that 9.9 out of 10 times you're more likely hitting a market low than a market top. And so the lesson in this is you're not getting anything guaranteed by the market. We've had a lost decade where stocks haven't returned squat in the past 9 years. But the only thing you can do to inoculate yourself from this is to be diversified, to keep costs low, to own a bit of everything, not just in the United States, not just in the developed world, but emerging markets. Certainly 2008 showed the importance of being in treasury bonds, because things do fall apart and catastrophes do happen. Not just to follow the herd and invest when investing feels good. You have to be more cold-eyed about it. I think that's
well. You got to be, and you got to be ready to be perhaps out in the cold. Unemployment, the thing that really affects people, and this could go right around the world, couldn't it, in terms of 2009?
Well, the reckoning here is that people are worried, is employment here connected to a false prosperity that we had, at the very least in the United States in the past 5 years, 6 years, if so much of it was connected to a credit bubble and a real estate bubble, and that in turn, people had jobs, they were taking money out of their homes, feeling flush, buying goods that China was manufacturing 24/7. Was that all built on artifice? That's really the doubt right now. And Washington and the rest of the country is terrified that unemployment could approach 10% for the first time in a very long time. And there's that famous line, I believe, from the late 70s, early 80s, where it's a recession when your neighbor loses his job and it's a depression when you lose your job. And I think that's hitting home for everybody right now.
You've got that right. Business Week senior writer and columnist Roben Farzad, thanks so much for taking the time to be with us.
I appreciate it. Thank you.